The night is May 3rd, the night before the AP Psychology exam. Maddie Berman and Brett Hartstein have been up since 8 a.m. studying, and they want some sort of crash course so they can guarantee a 5 on this exam. How's everybody doing? You asked for this, and now you're gonna get it. I'm Brett Hartstein, and thank you for tuning in to our crash course on AP Psychology. First unit we're gonna discuss is personality. Now I'm gonna touch on the psychosexual stages. There's 5 of them: oral, anal, phallic, latent, and genital. Now the oral stage is when you're 0 to 18 months old, and if you're fixated, meaning you're stuck, you can be oral aggressive or oral dependent. Alright, then there's the anal stage, 18 months to 3 or 4 years old. You can be fixated, which means you're gonna have trouble being orderly, you're gonna be frugal, punctual, obstinate, and rebellious. Then the phallic stage, 3 to 4 years old. If you're fixated, you will be stuck as an Oedipal or electrocomplexes. You'll be proud, self-assured, vain, timid, and bashful. Latent, not much goes on during the latent period, so it's about 5 or 6 years to puberty. Then we get to the genital stage, and this is your puberty through adulthood. And boys, this is when you go a-whacking. The Oedipus complexes. It's from your phallic unconscious. You identify with the same-sex parent, and this allows for identification and introjection of values and morals which develop the superego. It's this time when you get your superego, your morals and stuff. Your ego defense mechanisms. These are your unconscious strategies to shield against threatening perceptions, feelings, or impulses. Now, I'm not sure if I already described fixation or not, but I'd like to throw it in there. Fixation is, it's a failure of development to continue seeking same gratification. Denial, it's where you keep threatening your perception of external world from your awareness. Yo, Nick, did you get with Laura last night, dude?
Nah.
You sure?
Yeah.
Repression, blocking awareness of unacceptable drives, like sex, aggression, and guilt. Projection, perceiving characteristics in others you admit in yourself. Reaction formation, consciously feeling or acting opposite of true feelings. You're gonna come to my house and think you're gonna beat me at my game.
I'm skunking you.
Ladies first.
Good game, I get it.
Hey, it was fun. Yeah,
it was great.
It's a lot of fun. Alright, I'll see you tomorrow night.
Yeah,
great.
Fuck.
Rationalization, socially acceptable explanation for behavior from unacceptable drives. Regression, going backward in behavior and thought to be less responsible, like a childlike time. Sublimation, expressing drives for pleasures or aggressive in okay ways. Identification, identifying with another person who appears successful. Displacement, directs aggression away from arouser to someone or something safer. Suppression, you must have a strong ego and a mature personality for this one. So, class, it's gonna be hard to get this one, but deliberate, conscious, or semi-conscious decision to postpone attention to conscious impulse or conflict. Finally, we have fantasy, gratifying frustrated desires by imaginary achievements. Your conscious and your subconscious. This is the tip of the iceberg versus the whole entire thing that is submerged under the water, which is out of view and outside your conscious awareness. Your preconscious and unconscious. It's not conscious, but it's easily able to get to it. It's part of the ego and superego that one is unaware of. Alright, class, now it's time to get into identification. The castration complex.
Bruh, mine's bigger.
Castration chop! Oh no! The penis envy. Speaking of penis envy, let's have Maddie Berman take over from here.
Brett had to step out of the office for a few moments, so I'm here to cover a few things. There's 2 ways to test personality: the Rorschach inkblot test and the TAT test. The Rorschach inkblot test is pretty much just ambiguous inkblots. And the TAT test are 19 pictures of ambiguous expressions and situations. I'd like to move on to penis envy now. This is when girls realize that they're automatically different, so they blame mom and turn to dad. Introverts are usually shy people who don't really care for others. The next are the extroverts. The extroverts are the people that are more relaxed and cheerful. Other traits are your common traits, which are seen in most people, like friendliness or responsibility. And then we have our unique traits, which are less common and unusual. Our cardinal traits are the main traits that define an individual. Our secondary traits are seen only in particular situations, which are not as consistent as cardinal traits, but still are seen in people. Now on to the Big Five, which is explained by Tupez and Crystal. These are the basic dimensions of personality. You can remember the Big Five with the acronym OCEAN. O for openness, C for conscientiousness, E for extroversion, A for agreeableness, and N for neuroticism.
Oh, all right. Measuring personality. These are inventories. They're tests to measure your extent of traits, mostly objective tests. And the first one we're going to start off is the MMPI. Many of you are probably asking me, what does MMPI stand for? I'm going to tell you. It's the Minnesota Multiphasic Personality Inventory. It diagnosed patients with psychological disorders. And then we have the CPI. It has the same procedures as the MMPI, but it measures only 18 traits. Then there's the 16PF, 16 Personality Factor Questionnaire. They have questions with answers like yes, no, sometimes, practically. You know, they're kind of surveys like the ones we get at school. Now, the behavior perspective. One of my favorites. It's the result of external events. And the first person, you know what he did? He let the rats out. Yes, I'm talking about Skinner. He conducted a functional analysis on the individual's behavior to identify events that are reinforcers, behavior modification. Behavior is determined by consequences. Social learning are expectancies and values that are important, that shape our social learning. Observational learning, it's modeling, it's learning by watching others. You have vicarious learning, which is observe another being rewarded for an action. Reciprocal interaction, it's when the person and environment affect each other. Self-efficacy is very important. It's how well people perceive they can organize and use their cognitive, social, and behavioral skills. Then you have the locus of control. Your internal locus, it's saying, I'm the master of my fate. And the external locus, it's controlled by forces outside of your control. Now we have gender and personality up next. It's your cognitive differences between males and females. For girls, they get higher verbal abilities, boys, higher math and spatial abilities. And for personality, boys tend to be more aggressive.
Rogers and Maslow describe the humanist perspective by emphasizing on a person's internal world and capacity for self-actualization. Self-actualization is the process to attempt to fully realize all inner potentials. Next is our unconditional positive regard, which is our total acceptance and love for regardless behavior. My lovely friend Maslow created the hierarchy of needs, which first satisfies your lower needs and then moves on to your higher needs. In order to reach your higher needs, you need to satisfy your lower needs first.
Good luck on your AP exam, class. But for now,